All right, so once again, this is EDCEP 917. This is experimental design and educational research. The first thing that I'm going to do here is go over the syllabus. Hope you found this video okay. So this class is being offered online. The general principle behind the class is that we are looking at experiments. And by experiments, I mean that we are determining the effect of an intervention on a dependent variable. And that dependent variable, so let's say the intervention is repeated readings, that would be on oral reading fluency of students. And so if you're looking for insight into how to complete a survey, insight into how to do factor analysis, if you're looking for insight into doing descriptive studies, those types of things, this is not what the course is founded on. This course is founded on doing experiments and doing experiments using methodologies that have been accepted by various organizations. So when we look at the broad picture of how experimental research is looked at in the field of education, this class is essentially an overview of those designs, how to make an appropriate design, and how to conduct an experiment, and also how to do the statistical analyses that would be relevant to that design. So in essence, this is not a statistical class as much as it's a class on how to conduct an experiment using robust methods. So that doesn't mean to say that we're not going to be using statistics within the class, because we will be using statistics in the class, but those statistics aren't they aren't the most what word do I want to use? They aren't the most advanced statistics that are out there. And so, you know, I hope that we're not getting into the weeds and that we're not getting to a point where people have never heard of these concepts before. In 816 and 817, you should be fairly familiar with ANOVA, you should be fairly familiar with regression. And so the things that we're doing are more linking those statistical analyses to a specific research design. Again, this class is offered online. It's 3 credit hours. In the syllabus, it says my office hours are 10 to 1, but don't let that stop you from emailing me and getting in touch with me if you have questions. I'm in my office quite a bit, and I answer emails as quickly as I can. The required texts for these books, the first one is a statistics and graphic how-to. So on Canvas, that is located under Files. This is a free book. The one caveat that I would say to this book is that I wrote it, and I wrote it as a fundamental book that will also give you the necessary knowledge to be able to utilize those statistical tests. So if this ever opens, and it will at some point, but I'm just going to close it because I have it open on my computer. I think. Okay. So here's the book. And the course, we will generally be going through chapter 6, and as you'll see, generally speaking, at the end of each chapter, I've given references to, let's get to the end of a chapter. Things that should be read to go along with this. So when we're using this book, I would expect that you're not citing this book, that you would be citing other articles that would be more relevant than this book, because this book is made expressly for this course and not as a something that should be referenced. What just happened? What just happened? So as you can see, there's must-reads here that would go along with the chapter, and then there are references that you can cite more specifically than the reference to this textbook. And then we have some suggested texts. The first suggested text is the American Psychological Manual, the APA manual, that I've put on suggested, but would be required essentially, in my opinion, if you are in a graduate program. The second book is called The Reviewer's Guide to Quantitative Methods and the Social Sciences. And the nice thing about this book is that if I open up to the chapter on ANOVA, the first, it's going to give me, it's not necessarily going to tell me what ANOVA is, but it tries a little bit. But the more important part is this piece where there's a table that goes and tells you what should be in each section. So it'll say, oh, each independent variable is defined so that discrete groups exist that are related to the research questions, hypotheses, theory, and literature reviewed, and that should go in the introduction section. And then it tells you what should be in the method section, the results, the discussion. So this is a really handy book for working on your write-ups. And the last one is Experimental and Quasi-Experimental Designs for Generalized Causal Inference. This is the go-to text for experimental designs. This is the book that you would go to when you were looking for limitations and weaknesses or strengths of various designs. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going over the rest of the meat of the syllabus. What I do want to emphasize is that the expectations are that you're, fumbling away at this and trying to do the basic ideas that are going along within the course, that you're doing it at a timely manner. I will take off 10% for a late assignment. That's not going to compound, so it's going to be 10% once. So if you turn in everything at the end of the year, 10% is going to be taking off all of those assignments, but it won't get any bigger than that. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of incompletes, and so if we're getting to the point where you don't think that you're going to be able to make those, to make up the assignments, then we need to have a talk, because I would expect that by the end of the class, the last due date would be the last date that anything could be turned in, and that would be reasonably right around finals week of spring semester. The course requirements, we're going to have 3 quizzes or exams that are going to be basically you showing that you can complete the tasks in the R statistical package. You're going to have to get IRB certification in human subjects. There will be 3 write-ups where you will essentially devise experiments based on something that is relevant to you in your work. And essentially you would do a write-up once, and then you would change the design to meet different design criteria. And then the homework and discussions, the homework here is listed, but it should have a dash there that says discussions. So there are discussion board posts, and those are worth 10 points. So weighted together, this all comes out to 100%. Note that these are weights, not... So the exams are worth 40% of the grade. IRB certification was 10% of the grade, but there could be that these are worth more points, but it'll be weighted so that it comes out to 40% of the grades. And then we have a general outline of the things that'll be discussed within each module, but this could likely change. This is taken from the summer classes, and so I've tried to make it look essentially like it would for these modules, and I would assume that the assignment dates aren't going to change, but keep in touch with Canvas on that because things may change as we move along. So that's the syllabus in general. The next thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be watching a video, and I apologize for any profanities that are in it, but John Oliver and HBO, well, he uses some bad language sometimes, and I apologize for that, but I think it's a really good video, and it's something that people should watch. All of the modules, you've already made it to one module, so you should be able to see it here, but the modules are the backbone of this class. So we have the introductory module that you're watching now. At the end of that, you will write in the discussion board answering the following: your name, the department, the field research interest, the year of the program, and intent in getting an advanced degree. And the intent in getting an advanced degree is mainly, are you planning on going back into the classroom? Are you planning on teaching in higher ed? Are you maybe going to work for the State Department? Those kinds of things. And the research interest, there should be one or two of them in general, and those are going to lead those write-ups as we look for experimental research within your field. What else? I think that's pretty much it. If there are any questions, you can also, I wouldn't put them on a discussion board. I wouldn't use Canvas. I would go ahead and email me directly. That's the fastest way to get a hold of me. And that should be it. We will see you on the next one.